Taking things personally can be a real problem for many of us. And I'm not talking here about reacting to what someone says every now and then and thinking about it for a little while and being annoyed by it, but being able to move on. I'm talking about being obsessed and consumed by it, overthinking, rummaging, and not being able to let go of whatever has been said or done or experienced in the day. If you suffer from very low self-esteem, such that it's problematic in your life, or if you know someone who does, do watch until the end, and hopefully by then you will have a better idea of the bigger picture as to why we are insecure, why we have low self-esteem, why we take things personally, and what we can do about it. And this is a very dear subject to me because I used to suffer from this myself for many, many years. I used to be super insecure and super reactive. I would take everything personally all the time. I would get upset to what is being said, to what someone didn't say, to how they said it, or to how they didn't say it. It was unless I could never win. Everything was an excuse and an opportunity for me to feel hurt and get angry and to react. And this not only affected my mental and emotional health, because it's a horrible life to be trapped in a mental prison of obsession, but it also affected my behavior. It affected my perception of reality, so much so that I would create problems and that would affect every single one of my relationships. Now, thankfully, like many of us, I've been on my journey of healing and self-discovery. And as I developed more self-awareness, I realized that I was living on a survival mode. Nothing of what I was going through was normal. And here's the paradox. As long as we're in a state of survival, we don't know that we're in it. We believe that it's normal. That's all we've ever known. And so we're going to really believe that the world is hostile, full of bad people, and everyone is out there to get us. And we must stay constantly on a state of readiness to fight, flight, or freeze. In other words, we suffer a reality that reflects our emotional sense of self. Now, let's explain how this works at a neurological level. And so, in childhood, as we develop, our brain is going to adapt to whatever we're experiencing. What it means is that if we experience abuse, neglect, if we didn't have our needs met, if we didn't feel safe, if we didn't feel seen, accepted, supported, loved unconditionally all the time by our caregivers, then there's a part of us that would feel that we won't make it. And so now the brain needs to come into play and do something about it. And it will come up with some systems to look after ourselves. So an example would be anger. Some of us experience a lot of problems with anger, like I did for many, many years. And the reason we get into state of rage is because a long time ago, we believed that it was a good way to stay safe from whatever happened to us then. It was the system that we have adopted to feel seen or to stay safe. And so if we don't upgrade a system that was installed in childhood, it becomes our subconscious autopilot. And by virtue of repetition over the year, but also if it's exacerbated through a lifetime of stress and anxiety, now that seemingly harmless belief has developed into a very huge maladaptive pattern of behavior that is creating a lot of problems in our lives. And so anger is one of those examples. But also people pleasing. Some people are people pleasing because back then as a child, that's all they knew what to do in order to either stay safe from the abusers or be seen by the caregivers. And similarly, as the first example, if you don't change this, if you don't upgrade that system that was designed by a child, therefore not designed to sustain the life of an adult, it will become a hindrance in our adult lives. And people get trapped into those habits of people pleasing. They don't really want to do these things because they want people to be happy. They do this because they want to feel safe. And so all of our patterns of behavior are born from original systems that we have put into place in childhood because of whatever happened to us then. And insecurity and reactivity is the same. Insecurity is there to tell us, to remind us that we are not enough. We're not lovable, we're not capable, we're not worthy. We don't deserve the good things in life. We believe this because of the things we've been told, the things that happened to us, the things we observed from our caregivers. The way we behave became the way we behaved as well. And so now we suffer from this. But it was always a system to protect us, to keep us in check, to remind us, you are not normal, you are not like the others. You must be extra cautious. You are not enough, you're not worthy. And so this is for insecurity. Reactivity is us being constantly on the edge because there's a part of us that believes that we've been hurt in the past and no one has taught us how to regulate that hurt, how to cope with that if it was to happen again. And so when it happens again, we're going to be defenseless. And so because of that, we need to be on a constant state of edge and readiness. This is what reactivity is about. So if you couple insecurity and reactivity together, now we have the result of low self-esteem and taking things personally all the time, getting triggered, getting offended. Now, if that is you, I need you to realize that there's nothing wrong about you. You're not weak. You're not inferior as a human being. You are the natural and logical consequence and evolution of whatever happened to you up to this point. And so in order to heal, the first element is to let go of shame. Let go of the idea that there's something wrong about us. There's nothing wrong about you. You are just the result of the random lottery of the universe. And we all are. We can all change. Now let's look at this from a psychological and practical perspective. Why do we take things personally? Because there's a part of us that believes that what they say is true and important. And that is the only reason we take things personally. If someone tells me, Didi, I hate your devil horns and your cloven hooves, I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to get angry or upset about it. Because I know that it's not true. I don't have devil horns. I don't have cloven hooves. I may think that person needs some glasses or maybe some holidays or some help of some sort. But I'm not going to take this personally because I don't believe that it is true. Another analogy that comes to mind is borrowed from the great Wendy Dyer. It goes like this. If you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice out of it. If you squeeze a grapefruit, you get grapefruit juice out of it. You don't expect grapefruit juice to come out of an orange or orange juice to come out of a grapefruit. And so within the context of that conversation, what it means is that when people say things that hurt us, it's not what they say that hurts us. It is the fact that they're squeezing something out of us that exists already inside of us. People don't hurt us because of what they say. People reactivate all wounds that exist already inside of us. People remind us of our own insecurities and feelings of inadequacies and limiting belief. In other words, we react and we take things personally because we believe that we are not enough. And so instead of reacting to what people say or do, you want to really redirect our focus and attention on addressing our triggers from the inside out. We want to upgrade and disarm all of those systems that we put into place that are now affecting our quality of life. To do this, there are things that we can apply, and one of them is this. It is the notion that everyone projects. Everyone projects. What does that mean? It means that people only experience a reflection of their own emotional sense of self. In other words, nothing that people do or say has anything to do with you. It's always a projection of their own reality. And how do I know this? It's very simple. Because they don't know you. We barely know ourselves. Most of us, we come into this existence to find out about who we are, to become that person that we're meant to become all throughout our lives. And so if we barely know ourselves, how can we know anyone else? Subsequently, if they don't know you, they cannot judge you. People are only judging a reflection of their own repressed shame, fears, and insecurities. People cannot judge you. They only judge their own projection. If you can realize this and remember this, then it's a game changer because you can easily move on and forget about the noise and focus on the things that really matter to you. But here's the twist. Now that we understand that people project, we need to realize that we too project. When people judge you, They're only judging themselves. And so when you judge others, you are doing the same. We judge others to distract ourselves from the discomfort of our own repressed shame and insecurities. We all do this. And the way to solve this is to replace judging with understanding. And this is what I'm doing here with those videos. Now, some people may attack you directly in your face. So here we're not talking about imagining people saying bad things about us. We're talking about people who are really having a go at us. They exist, it happens. But we need to remind ourselves that even in those instances, it is never personal. Nothing was ever personal. And here's why. We are vessels of energy. We absorb, we let in, we carry, we share, we give, we take energy all the time. Energy goes in and out and through us all throughout our lives. And emotions are energies. And so if we have been carrying the energy of hurt for a long time, and that's the predominant energy inside of us, we will pass on that hurt in some ways. Because that's who we are, that's what we have inside of us. And so what it means is that people are not trying to hurt you because they want to hurt you. It's got nothing to do with you. They hurt you because they hurt, and you happen to be there. That's it. And you happen to be a perfect candidate, a perfect easy prey for them to use to unload, unleash, and get rid of their anger, frustration, and hurt. And so again, it was never because of you. It was always because of them. When this happens, we must keep ourselves safe from those people, of course. So we must set boundaries, we must create space between us and them. We must prioritize our well-being and safety. But also what we can do after that is to change the meaning of what was said, of what happened. Because even though they're not there, the thought of it may still linger in our mind and still affect our happiness. In other words, if someone says to you, you're stupid, you're lazy, or you're ugly, it doesn't mean that you're stupid, lazy, or ugly. It means that they are so terrified of being stupid, lazy, or ugly themselves that they're using you as a distraction from the feelings of repressed shame that they are trying to avoid at any cost, that they have inside of them. They're using you as a distraction from being reminded of their own feelings of inadequacy. Now, there's something that is quite important to highlight. It is that taking things personally distorts our perception of reality. And so, again, I was talking about all the systems that we put into place in childhood, and this is one of them. That distortion of reality, that negativity bias, that paranoia is there to protect us. And so that's why we react to the world. That's why we think that people are plotting, that they are trying to hurt our feelings. But here, where it gets even more problematic. The more we take things personally, the more we are reinforcing that reality. That everyone is bad, that we're on our own, that no one can understand us, and that we must constantly be on a state of protection, defensiveness, and reactivity, and counterattack and try to destroy our enemies and foes. If someone says something and I feel that they are having a go at me, in that moment I will lose access to my rational intelligence. And my only intention, my only priority will be to destroy or to get away from that enemy. And so what we want to do really is to remember to do our best to be kind. Some of us, we've been through a lot, and it will be much harder for us to change this. It is possible for everyone to change, but for those who are neurodivergent, for those who have inherited trauma, wounds, baggage, it's going to take much more time. So we must assume that everyone is on the spectrum of something, just in case. And be patient, be kind, be compassionate, be empathetic. Because if we don't do this, we are being a bully. We must stop calling out people for being too sensitive, for being needy, for being offended, for being triggered. This is terribly cruel and unnecessary. And we don't realize this, we just go with the motion. Everyone does it, so we're just joining the momentum. But we can do better than this. We can develop some level of emotional intelligence and empathy and change the world by being kind, by giving people a chance to heal from their past. And so stop using insecure as a slur. Stop saying, don't be so insecure, if you can. Instead, realize that we don't choose to be insecure out of choice. We don't choose our trauma, we don't choose our childhood, we don't choose our limiting belief, we don't choose our genes, we don't choose any of those things. We're just the result of what have happened to us. And so we can realize that instead of belittling them, we can make them feel more secure. We can make them feel more safe. We're insecure not because we're weak, not because we're inferior, but because we don't feel safe. And that offers a chance to everyone to be the bigger guy and to help each other. Finally, I'm going to give you a little hack that may help some of you. And so it goes like this. You are not the center of the universe. And that's it. We forget that whenever we take things personally, it is because in that moment, we are back into the emotional mind. We are back into the shoes of the child that we once were, and that believed that we were the center of the universe. Things are happening to me, at me, because of me. And as long as you believe that, we're going to be terribly disempowered. And it's just not true. So if we can zoom out and realize that we are not the center of the universe, now we can see that things are not happening to me, at me, or because of me, or even for me. Things are just happening, and I happen to be there, and it's okay. Reminding ourselves that we are not the center of the universe reminds us that there is a bigger reality than the confines of our fears, insecurities, ego, and trauma. That's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please do subscribe. And also, know that I come live on YouTube every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time up till 8 p.m. for the foreseeable future at this point in time, and we are in October 2025. And so you can come and ask me any question. We can talk about mental health, therapy, psychology, spirituality, anything. And until then, I'm going to wish you a great day or night wherever you are. And remember to be kind to others if you can. But at least be kind to yourself. And also, although you are very special and unique and important and your feelings are valid, no one is that special but at the center of the universe. And so you are not the center of the universe. You are the universe. Bye guys. Love you all. Thank you.